Welcome to the final phase, system hacking. All of the data collection you've done up to this point has laid the foundation for finally hacking into your target. We started with footprinting, where you cast a wide net for information collection, gathering as much as you can, documenting, remember, documenting. Then with scanning, where we acted on the information to determine which hosts are live, which ones ports are open, what are vulnerabilities, and then enumeration went even further, initiating an active connection to query the target directly. By now, you should have a very complete picture of what your target is, so the only thing left is to attempt to gain as much access as possible to our target system and hack it. For those of you who skipped ahead, which I know there are some of you, and who are coming directly to this section, bravo, that's what I would have done. Your parents must have really enjoyed the fact that you probably opened your Christmas presents early and tried to rewrap them. I know mine did. It's unlikely you'll complete your hack in one fell swoop. System hacking requires a patient, methodical approach as you forge your way to deeper and deeper access to your target. Some steps you might take are password cracking, escalation of privileges, executing applications, and covering your tracks and concealing evidence. Think of this as like the digital equivalent of hiding a body. Password cracking is the process of recovering passwords from transmitted or stored data. An attacker extracted usernames during the enumeration phase, and now they use manual or automated methods to try to crack passwords. Then they can log in as what appears to be a legitimate user. We have an entire module on password cracking later in this course. If the account that you access is lower privileged, which is likely, since those tend to be less secure, then you'll need to escalate privileges, which means raise them, so taking a normal user and turning it into an administrator. There are two types of privilege escalation, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal privilege escalation is when an attacker attempts to take over the privileges of another user at the same level. Vertical privilege escalation is when an attacker either elevates the privilege settings of the hacked account or takes over a higher privileged account. Think of it kind of like Grand Theft Auto. It's like getting out of your car and stealing a car of equal value or stealing a faster, better car. Once you've obtained the desired privileges, it's time to execute applications on the system. Which applications will depend on your objectives. For example, a backdoor application creates an easier way to access the system later. You essentially install a secret backdoor into your target system. Another application is a keylogger, which records everything the user types into their computer. Another one is malware, which is designed to capture information and compromise the system. Trojans, viruses, anything that's you don't want to be there. Once you've done whatever you intended on doing on the target system, it's time to cover your tracks so the owner won't discover your attack. You might disable auditing, clear event logs, or remove evidence from log files. You can also conceal evidence, which is easier on a Windows system. Windows lets you flag files as hidden or use alternate data streams to hide file data within existing files that an attacker can run later. So, without further ado, we're going to be hacking some stuff. Metasploit is an open source Perl project which started in 2003 and then completely rewritten in Ruby in 2007 and then purchased by Rapid7 in 2009. If you're in the security industry, wanting to be in the security industry, and you don't know who Rapid7 is, then you need to go look them up. Metasploit is the de facto hacking tool out there. There's still a free and open source version called Metasploit Community, which we're going to be using in this demo. You can run Metasploit in the command line interface, or you can install Armitage GUI. Metasploit comes with a database of pre-written exploits against known vulnerabilities that you can run on your target. You can take advantage of years of hacking and hackers discovering common vulnerabilities and coding exploits and leverage them with basically point and click. Well, what's really cool about Metasploit is every time you update it, it loads in newly identified vulnerabilities so you can launch those attacks. So if something just got discovered, you have it readily available. And the top hackers kind of in the world are all contributing that kind of information to this community. Yeah, this program, it really helps you stay up to date with latest pen testing tactics. Metasploit has 6 different types of modules: payloads, exploits, auxiliary, encoders, NOPs, and post. You can mix and match these modules as needed to create your perfect attack on your target. Payloads are the pieces of code left behind on a hacked system. Payloads are what enable us to connect to the target after we have exploited a vulnerability in its system. Examples of payloads are Trojans, keyloggers, and reverse shells. Payloads are delivered by exploit modules. Exploit modules take advantage of vulnerabilities to get the payload code onto target. An exploit without a payload to use is an auxiliary module. These include a variety of attacks such as fuzzers, scanner, and denial of service attacks. Fuzzers attempt to input so much random data into a system's buffer that it overflows, which is a buffer overflow, and overwrites adjacent memory. Breaking the buffer often enables us to execute our own code remotely. We're not going to really get into this. This is a little bit more advanced than a basic course is going to teach, but remember the terms. Encoders ensure payloads make it to their destination by encoding them to make them undetectable to antivirus software and other security devices. Think of them as like a protective wrapper or like a different delivery box. The UPS guy brings you a box and it looks one specific way, painted, colored, whatever, same label, same return address, and you discover it's a virus. Some sort of like biological weapon. Oh crap, I better remember that any boxes from these guys contain this horrible virus. The next day, different box shows up and you're like, all right, it's not from this guy. It's in a totally different shape. You open it up and you're like, oh no. And then you got another virus. That's kind of what it's like. Antivirus really works by having a previous experience with a virus, a known virus, in the way that it gets sent. So a virus signature. And if it keeps changing, then antivirus doesn't work anymore. NOPs keep payload sizes consistent. Post are modules that you can use post-exploitation of the system to cover your tracks and minimizes the chances of getting caught. Metasploit has a built-in keyword search engine. You can search by type of module or by platform, and this is really useful when shuffling through thousands of modules. And, well, enough talking and me yapping. Let's get to hacking.